is this piece of shit?
Boba Fett instantly became a fan favorite in the universe of Star Wars. So whenever two genius men reintroduced him back into the series in The Mandalorian, everyone was pissing themselves in excitement. So when it was shown that a show about him was coming soon, people lost their collective minds. And so stands before us today the much anticipated Book of Boba Fett. And having watched it in its entirety, I can only say one thing. The Book of Boba Fett is one of the most conflicting pieces of media I have ever watched. It somehow teeters between the thin line of, please God, inject this into my veins, I need more, and holy hell, this is horrendous. It's almost as if the show was written and produced by two different people. One, a competent writer who can make a gritty, realistic story and makes the audience care for a character, while the other directed Spy Kids. Episode 1 starts out great. Boba Fett's interaction with the Tuskens is enjoyable, and the more gritty and hardcore portrayal of the Star Wars universe had me hooked in. Everything is sailing fairly smoothly, though a few quips land flat on their face.
He wants you to pay him.
What? I'm the crime lord. He's supposed to pay me.
The issues begin with the first real fight of the series. Assassins are sent to kill Fett, who's no longer wearing his helmet. These assassins box both Fett and his sidekick Fennec in with their laser shields and begin stabbing them with electric batons? If you were trying to assassinate them, wouldn't it make more sense to box them in and just stab them? Or even just have a sniper above on the rooftops? Boba isn't wearing his helmet anymore, so a well-placed shot to the head would end the matter pretty quickly. But bigger issues arise when two green pigmen who work for Fett come to help him, and before even looking back, the assassin lowers his shield? And suddenly all the assassins are deactivating their impenetrable laser shields. This assassin tries to hit Fennec in the head in the goofiest way possible. This assassin falls for literally no reason. This assassin remembers that his shields still work, only to deactivate it almost instantly. This assassin has a wide open shot on Fennec and goes for an overhead strike instead of just hitting her in the back with a normal horizontal swing. And Fennec, a relatively tiny woman, uses the end of an electric baton to suplex an assassin wearing armor, and he goes flying 10 feet onto one of his allies' electric shields. This assassin has a good 5 seconds to kill Boba Fett, but instead just stares at him like a dumbass. We then go to Boba Fett back with the Tuskens, and I'm immediately reminded that the show can be good. For now. Episode 2 doesn't really have any offenses. It's mainly an episode for world building in the present, with the latter half being a dive into Fett helping the Tuskens grow stronger. The writing is relatively tight. It's interesting enough to keep you engaged. There's a train fight scene that's kinda dumb, but overall the story is good enough that I'll give it a pass. And now we get to episode 3. A businessman seeks an audience with Fett and explains to him that he is a water dealer, a pretty important profession in a desert. He goes on to say the streets are in chaos and a street gang of young thugs has been stealing his water supplies, and in repayment for their removal, he will double his tribute. So Bobo goes out to deal with the thugs and oh my god damn! Look at these goofy asses. They look and act like something out of off-brand Spy Kids. But it gets worse. As it turns out, they're all British, and they start running their mouths at Boba Fett. I was expecting him to send the Brits down to hell where they belong, but instead, he hires them as his thugs.
I should not even have to say how stupid that is. It's almost as if he wants everybody around him to see him as a pushover. Because I guess Boba Fett is kind and forgiving now.
But now, we get to the good stuff. We cut to Boba in the present, who is woken up by a Wookiee grabbing him and throwing him out of a healing tank. Whoa, stop. A few questions. How did this big-ass Wookiee sneak past all the guards undetected? Why is no one stationed outside of Boba Fett's room while he's in his most vulnerable state, while assassins are actively sent out to kill him? But most of all, why didn't the Wookiee just end Fett's life right then and there? Fett was asleep. The Wookiee could have shot him, stabbed him, hell, even just strangled him to death, and the assassination would have been complete. It's bafflingly stupid. But what if I told you? It gets worse. What you're about to witness is the worst fight sequence I've seen in recent memory. So the Wookiee throws Boba Fett out of the tank, yells, and slowly walks over to him. Fett tries to tackle the Wookiee but is thrown to the floor easily. The Wookiee then grabs Fett by the neck, and instead of strangling him, he throws him over to his weapons and armor. Fett is then punched full force in the face by a Wookiee with spiked and electrified brass knuckles. This punch from the beast that effortlessly sent him flying across the room should kill him, right? Nope, it seemingly does nothing. So the Wookiee just awkwardly stands there as Fett grabs his stick spear and rams it into the Wookiee's stomach. The Wookiee then turns around for no reason and Fett stabs him in the back. The Wookiee hits him across the room again and then begins hugging him. No, I'm not joking. He tries hugging Boba Fett to death. He then bites Boba Fett in the hand, which you would assume would take a chunk of flesh out of Boba's hand, right? Wrong. It does absolutely nothing. Keep that in mind. Then the spy kids show up. The girl stabs the Wookiee in the back. One uses his electrified chain to subdue the Wookiee's hand. The only guy with a gun then walks towards the Wookiee and shoots him in the armor 4 separate times. He is at point blank range and aims for the Wookiee's body as opposed to his head. It should be the easiest shot in existence to hit. As I reiterate, he is literally 2 feet away. But instead, the Wookiee hits his ass into the wall, hopefully killing him. The girl with an orange hammer then tries to attack him and literally does nothing. The guy with the chain is then thrown across the room. Fett gets a stab in, but it literally does nothing and he's mauled into his healing tank. Then the 2 green pigs from earlier come into the room, and instead of finishing his bounty and making sure Fett is dead, he runs at the 2 pigs and tackles them down a flight of stairs. What? Why? You're just giving your very much alive target a chance to escape. The Wookiee then hits one of the pigmen with the electric fisticuff things, and the pig is knocked unconscious immediately. The Wookiee then takes a bite out of the shoulder of the other pig, injuring him greatly. May I remind you, nothing happened to Boba Fett when he was hit by both of these. The spy kids then show up again, and the guy with the gun feints a charge. What are you gonna do? Miss? But guess what? The Wookiee actually flinches. Fennec then comes into the room and presses a button, opening a trapdoor conveniently underneath the Wookiee's feet, where the guy with the gun has 7 seconds to shoot the Wookiee in the head and kill him, instead opting to wait and concentrate the 3 brain cells he must have into his aim. Fennec gets tired of waiting and throws her dagger into the Wookiee's hand, giving him a weapon to use for when they will eventually have to get him out. Boba Fett then walks out in a bathrobe, completely unharmed. Now, let's compare that scene to Boba Fett's first true introduction in The Mandalorian. Later, Boba Fett and his posse of spy kids pay a visit to who they think sent the assassin.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
The gang have candy-colored mopeds. They ride up, trying to look intimidating, in candy-colored mopeds. Who wrote this? And of course, the guy who they think sent the assassin isn't there, and the advisor tries to make a run for it in his speeder. I just want to pause on this frame to show you how stupid this all looks. The CGI is genuinely terrible, and what follows is the slowest chase scene I've ever seen in any movie. It boggles my mind that a grown-ass man sat down and thought up the idea of a gang of spy kids on candy-colored mopeds and that it would fit well into the Star Wars universe. Oh, and the cherry on top, there's some cringy dialogue at the end.
Good work. Keep an eye on them. Sorry, it's an expression.
You don't have to be sorry, mate. I paid a lot for this.
And with great haste, we move on to episode 4, which has us travel into Boba's past, and how he met and partnered up with Fennec. After finding her almost dead body, he takes her to a mod parlor to save her life. And I swear to God, I cringe every time I look at these goofy-ass teenagers trying to act tough with their Spy Kids implants. The rest of the episode is more tolerable, with Fennec and Fett going on missions to do different things, such as get back his ship, find his armor, and my personal favorite, kill the bastards that killed his Tusken tribe, in a fashion I can only describe as being Boba Fett-like. The Wookiee that tried to kill Boba Fett earlier, who is now freed, is at a bar and randomly starts beating up a bunch of dudes gambling at a casino. So far, this show probably sounds like a dumpster fire, huh? Well, you're not wrong. It has indeed been horrible. However, it is redeemed in episodes 5 and 6, which are absolute 10 out of 10s. 2 episodes that I will not talk about here, mainly because Boba Fett is entirely not in them. These 2 episodes are not the Book of Boba Fett so much as they are The Mandalorian Season 2.5. Therefore, it does not count, and I can continue to say that this show is the dumbest thing Disney's ever created. And with this in mind, we move on to the final chapter, Episode 7. And this finale was bad. There were so many inconsistencies, it's hard for me to put my finger on which part I disliked the most. But I'm not gonna do that. And if you want to see everything that happens, watch it for yourself. Because I don't have the energy to go into all the scenes I found stupid or bad. There were so many. So I'll just bring up my top 3. 1. There's a scene in the middle of a gunfight where Boba and Mando are getting shot in the armor and it somehow seems to affect them? What? This is Beskar, the supposed strongest armor in the galaxy. We've seen both of them getting shot multiple times, and they just walked right through it. But now, because the script demands it, they can feel the pressure of the blasters or some shit. I don't know. 2. Grogu chose to be with the Mandalorian and is sent back to be with him. And my only question is, who wrote this? It completely nullifies the entire point of Mandalorian Seasons 1 and 2, all because the executives want Mando to be with Grogu because they can't think of another reason that he should be. 3. Cad Bane and Fett have a final standoff in which Cad somehow shoots through the Beskar armor Fett is wearing. This armor is shown to be totally resistant to blaster fire, and now he's just able to shoot right through it. Bane then comes over to Boba Fett, who is able to remove his staff and within a few seconds kill him. Cad Bane, who had a collective 5 minutes of screen time, is killed off in 10 seconds. It makes no goddamn sense. Nothing in this show is consistent. Where was the setup? Where was the payoff? I have an answer. There was none.
Alright, so the rest of this recording's audio broke, and I'm too lazy to use the good mic right now, so you're gonna get what I'm saying right now as an epilogue. This show is creatively all over the place, inconsistent, and treats Boba Fett like he's some nice heroic man. Alright, that's it. You can go now.